This is Professor BRB, and today we're going to put together this multi-state object with a map of London. And you can see how this works. I click on these different map pins and information about that destination pops up. So how did we create this? If you want to know how to create the assets like the map pin and the card, please watch the previous video. In this video, we are just going to put together the multi-state object, which is actually the easiest part of it. So you can see I have here my 4 cards, and I have my map pins. I've already placed 2 of them. And so I'm just going to put these pins in position. I lived in London for a year when I was a student many years ago, and this makes me very nostalgic for the time that I had there. So next I'm going to put my cards. I have to kind of be careful about my cards because I have to make sure they don't cover any of my map pins up because I need the user to be able to find them. So the cards are going to be in kind of a similar position. Some of them are. Here's Holborn Station. That's the British Museum. If you ever go to London, you want to go to the British Museum, you get off at Holborn. And if you pronounce it Holborn, like an American, they will laugh, as I did. I got laughed at for that. Here's St. James Park. It's in a similar part of London. There's a lot kind of central there. So I'm going to put that right there. And Westminster Station, likewise, it's a similar part of London. I want to make sure I don't cover my pins up, so I'm going to pop that over here. And then Vauxhall, that's down south. And it doesn't matter that these are kind of blocking each other. And the reason for that is that they'll only show one at a time. So that makes it kind of easy. Now let me look at my layers here, because layers are your best friend. And notice my map is on its own layer. I probably should have called that map. Just to make it easy if someone else ever has to work on this. And notice that that's locked, and I can see that it's on that layer like that. So the first thing I do before I program the buttons is I need to make the multi-state object. And in order to do that, I want to be in my digital publishing workspace. I'm going to reset that and make sure it's kind of standard. And I select my 4 cards. Once again, if you want to know how I made these cards, then refer to the previous video. I open up my window that says Object States. Now, with my 4 cards selected and in the position that I want them to appear in, I go to Object States here, and this little button at the bottom, Convert Selection to Multi-State Object. I push that. And bingo, here are my 4 states. And this is called Multi-State 7 because this is a demo document, and I'm going to name it London Map so that I know what it is. And notice it's very handy that these came up named and they are reading the type there, so that's kind of fun. And I had also named the pictures for reference. And I go to Buttons and Forms. I'm in my digital publishing workspace. And here, with that selected, I go Type, Button, Name. I'm going to name it so that I know what it is. I can leave this at On Release or Tap. And now Actions, I need to add an action. So I click Action, Go to State. And what's going to happen is when I do this, InDesign is going to search my document and look for multi-state objects. Well, I only have 1 in this document, so it's going to call it London Map. Not spelled right, but that's okay. And that's good. So that should take me to that state. And then I can go ahead and program the rest of the buttons. This is the St. James button, so type button, name, St. James, go to state, and then I choose the state. That's why you have to make your multi-state object first before you can program the buttons, obviously, because it won't know what to look for. So button, action, go to state. I think you kind of see where this is going. And choose the state Westminster. And our last one down here, Vauxhall. Type button, name Vauxhall, action, go to state, and choose the state Vauxhall. So that should do it. Let's go ahead and test this. You notice I can access my preview spread, my EPUB interactivity preview button here. I'm going to go ahead and select that. It always brings it up in a really tiny window. Come on. Takes a minute. Sometimes it runs kind of slow. I want to drag this window out so we can see what we're doing a little bit better. But it's being slow on me right now. I think I just have to let it catch up with me for a minute. Okay, here we go. Now I can pull it out. So now you notice I'm just on page view because this is just a one page here, and I might have to hit play preview over here. And notice that none of my cards are showing right now because I marked them all to be hidden until triggered. So now I hit the Holborn button and let's see what happens. Ooh, there's Holborn Station. There's St. James Park. There's Westminster. And there's Vauxhall. So I thought that worked pretty well. And that wasn't great that Vauxhall was kind of blocking some of my type here, so I might redesign that. If you find after you've created your multi-state object that you're not 100% happy with how you've placed things, the good news is you can edit it. I can see my buttons are all working just great. So if I click this and I go to object, I'm going to refresh my digital publishing here and go to object states. And I can choose, I can edit these states. For example, if I choose Vauxhall here and I say, no, I really like where I put that, I can just choose the state Vauxhall and I can move it. And then it'll play that way. So I didn't want to be off the edge here. Maybe I'm going to have to move my button a little bit and make more room for it. But I kind of think you see how this works. So what we've done is we have created an interactive map so that anyone interested in traveling to London can click on these different map pins and see where that will take them and what London Underground station they should get off at. So I think that's a useful kind of little project. So thank you for watching, and good luck being creative with multi-state objects. There's a lot that you can do with them.